Good evening.
Evening.
I've, I've been thrashing around with formatting today, so the the specs for the trim size and everything for the book are just slightly different in affinity than in Lulu, where we're hoping to get it printed. So I'm revising all of the pages, page to
Oh,
page. Yeah.
Man.
It's
oh yeah,
fussy.
that's no fun.
It's fussy, but it's sort of meditative in a way, which is just very repetitive and
Oh,
Going. Keep going.
that's
yeah,
a good way of looking at it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, okay, so I'm going to open up the Affinity version of this so I can follow along. Okay. Uh, Trying to figure out exactly where we are. Okay, so this is the board. Yeah, this is the boards, right?
I have page 472. Does that help?
Yeah, yeah, it does. It does. Let's see. So it would be Ann and Kim, Melissa and me.
Right.
You make it just a little bit bigger, please. I'm sorry. Ah, very good. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Growing our practice of generosity, a Buddhist approach to Appamada's financial model. The summer following this proposal, the Appamada Board of Directors spent a day in appreciative inquiry, envisioning a model of long-term financial sustainability that is in alignment with the Buddhist teachings. We aspire to move away from an exchange mindset toward a way of generously supporting the Dharma for ourselves, for the Sangha, and for the whole world.
Appamada is already a community of generosity. Whether it's flowers arranged for the altar by a volunteer leading the Wednesday night program or one-day sittings, simply welcoming a newcomer, there is a deep and resonating culture of giving and gratitude. As Appamada becomes a mature Sangha with senior teachers, emerging teachers, councils, and dedicated practitioners, we have the opportunity to adopt a financial model that enacts the Dharma and expands our ability to invite and reflect a diverse and inclusive community. Do you want to say entrusted teachers in that list?
Um, yeah. I didn't write this, so this is what the board produced.
Oh,
So I don't know about making changes
I understand. Okay.
in their text. Yeah.
So I have a quick question about commas and or in the
Uh-huh.
last page on 16. Do you put a comma before an or?
Um, which sentence are you
The
Wednesday
referring?
night
very last.
program or one-day sittings, comma, or simply welcoming a newcomer.
Um, it's I wouldn't put a comma there because it's attached to leading the Wednesday night program or one day sittings, or simply welcoming a newcomer.
But then there's a comma here.
Yeah, there's a
Right.
comma there. Yeah, that's where you want it. Because
Okay.
it's two things that are attached to leading.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Building on our strong cultures of generosity, the Appamada Board proposes that all classes, services, and use of the Appamada space be freely given. The process of approval, the practice of generosity. The board then issued a statement. The value of generosity permeates the Buddha's teaching. It can be found in the Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path. It is the core of the precepts and the first of the
Paramita.
Par, can you say that for me? Because it's not coming out of my mouth. Par,
Paramitas.
thank you. I don't know
Uh-huh.
why I can't do that. The practices of perfection, the one on which all others depend. I just want to say real quick that this is so close to my heart, and it amazes me. I've worked in a lot of church settings and other kind of nonprofit settings, and when I have come close to saying this kind of thing, this offering, that we should offer it this way, I have been slammed to the ground
Oh,
because because they feel that it'll be taken advantage of.
yeah. Well, and some people will do that, and that's karmic.
Yeah. I mean, that's my feeling. And if they do, they do.
Yeah,
I never understood why not.
yeah.
But thank you. And thank you for
And they
having that kind of statement.
and they may learn as they go if they stay connected the other way. So
Yeah.
we can't expect people to come out of this culture and automatically really understand this. Okay, the first act of the Buddha following his enlightenment was to teach the Dharma he had discovered. For 45 years, he offered these teachings freely, while depending himself on the generosity of the villagers who filled his begging bowl and donors who provided robes and medicine and housing for the monks. But building a culture of generosity is about more than giving and receiving.
The practice of generosity has two important functions. First, it helps connect us with others and with ourselves. Giving creates a relationship between the giver and the receiver, so acts of generosity help us to learn more about the nature of our relationships. It also develops those relationships. Practicing generosity together with a meditation practice helps ensure that our spiritual practice doesn't occur aloof from others. I'll finish the quote. Second, through the practice of generosity, we begin to understand where we are closed, where we are holding back, where we feel our fear. We learn what keeps us from being generous. We take on the practice to see where we will resist it. Gil Fronsdale, The Issue at Hand, Essays on Buddhist Mindfulness Practice.
So maybe we want to read the facing page.
I guess I have just a little question. In terms of where it can be found in the Four Noble Truths, would you say that it's about not craving and not craving and all that, that's generosity? Is that what you're
Yeah.
thinking? Okay.
No, go down. It's you want to be on the facing page for that.
This is it.
No, it's not.
Hmm.
Go back up.
And we read this.
So we read the interview with yeah, you
Because-
read that? Oh, okay. So we're on the next page. Okay. All right.
No, I'm just looking at the
Uh-huh.
way it looked. Okay.
Hmm.
Oh, this is before you had the shoe rack.
I never had the shoe rack on that side.
Oh, this is the back building. I was thinking it was the side port. Okay, I get it. Okay.
Yeah. So, okay.
The issue at hand. Oh, she read that. Most
Importantly,
importantly, no, you read that, right?
no.
Most importantly, true generosity utterly dissolves the illusion of separation of self and other and reminds us that we belong to each other and to the world. It is itself the antidote to fear, depression, and overwhelm. It reminds us that we abide in open-hearted connection with all being. It is the ultimate expression of our bodhisattva vow. Our own Sangha, Appamada, is based on the Buddha's last word, meaning mindful, energetic care. This model helps us extend our mutual care to the material support and care of the Sangha itself. I'm just wondering if you said our own Sangha, based on the Buddha's last word, Appamada, I don't know.
I can do that. That's not what the board wrote, but I can change it that way.
You see what I mean?
Of course, I see what you mean.
From the distance between them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good suggestion.
maybe no one on the board will notice.
They will.
None of the people who wrote this are still on the board.
Benefits. What are the tangible benefits of this model? There will no longer be a set charge for special programs such as intensives, courses, or ceremonies. Everyone's seat will be paid for by the Sangha. There will no okay, I'll just read down to the how it
Yeah.
works. There will no longer be a need to weigh the perceived value of an offering against the cost. There will no longer be a need to apply for scholarships for programming. We will be able to freely share our finance model with pride and openness as it mirrors our ideals, and demonstrates our embodied practice with our deeds.
How it works. Currently, the cost of operating Appamada is $8,000 a month, $100,000 annually, which includes rent for the building, utilities, supplies, insurance, bookkeeping, and technology. Okay, so establish a foundational sum of funds in order to provide us with a sense of spaciousness as we roll this out and work out the details. Engage in a fundraising effort focused on just this initiative. For a time, we will give toward present and future operations costs. Once we reach our set goal for this foundational sum, we will roll over to this new model. Practice generosity to Appamada as part of our Buddhist practice.
And we really didn't do the first two bullets, did we?
Yeah, we did. I just did those.
Was there? No. I mean,
I mean,
I
in
meant-
reality.
in reality,
No, they did do that.
the foundational sums, but how about the fundraising effort?
Yeah, they worked on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Everyone can help. The board wanted to know what the councils thought about this proposal, and so they conducted a survey, which produced thoughtful questions and concerns, including these responses. Is it going to work? Logistics of the fundraising in advance. Not to put it in terms of lack, but what we want to build together. Evolution of thinking about the contributions versus exchange model. How does this change how you feel about giving? Can pledges be part of this model? How to get feedback as to how it's working? How realistic is it to raise the money that we need for a year in a year? Target goal. When reached, we will roll out the new model. We like the idea of a cushion that gives us some confidence. Can we have a way for more people to come to the residential intensives? The financial model and process need to be explained in language that is accessible. How would Dana for Teachers work? Might be more class opportunities. Councils would work on how we could communicate our generosity model throughout Appamada in an ongoing way through the Sangha. partly about shifting from thinking about value as not tied to financial resources, but community with spiritual resources. What constitutes the richness of your life? I'll read this last one. How people of limited means cannot feel stressed out that they can't give more, dealing with that self-expectation.
Mm,
Some of
like
these,
that.
some of these are questions or sentences that maybe need punctuation, like this one. How does this change
Yeah,
how you feel about giving?
yeah. I added a question mark there.
Okay.
So we should read the facing page probably.
To act generously is to awaken a certain kind of freedom, freedom from the stranglehold of self-concern, and freedom to choose a level of responsibility beyond the minimal charge most of us have for ourselves.
Wait, Kim, I think it's the page above that that we haven't read that. The true nature of generosity is our attention. That one, yeah. So it goes with that image.
Those who are unhappy have no need of anything in this world but people capable of giving them their attention. The capacity to give one's attention to a sufferer is a very rare and difficult thing. It is also a miracle. It is a miracle.
It is almost a miracle.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Nearly all those who think they have this capacity do not possess it. Warmth of heart, impulsiveness, or pity is not enough. I don't get that, but is warmth of heart impulsiveness?
I think it probably is in French.
Yes, that it's an impulse.
Oh, I see. The love of our neighbor in all its fullness means being able to say, what are you going through? It is a recognition that the sufferer exists not only as a unit in a collection or a specimen from a social category labeled unfortunate, but as a person exactly like us who was one day stamped with a special mark of affliction. For this reason, it is enough, but it is indispensable to know how to look at him in a certain way. This way of looking is first of all attentive. The soul empties itself of all its own content in order to receive into itself the being it is looking at, just as they are in all their truth. Only one who is capable of attention can do this. Simone Weil, Zen practice is training in attention. And do we want to read this one now or not yet?
Not yet. Let's read this page then.
Okay. Oops.
The survey asked, I think it's Melissa, yeah.
The survey asked, what do you think is the next step? Would it be helpful for your council or the councils as a group to take part in an appreciative inquiry on a question related to this approach? General consensus was yes. The survey also asked, when do you think, uh, when you think of your practice, what would you like to provide for others? Well, I like that one. Encouragement on the path, an opportunity to receive the wisdom and compassion of the Dharma and the care of the teachers and the community.
Adoption of the Generosity Initiative. The Generosity Initiative was implemented following the appreciative inquiry with the board, the survey of councils, and town hall meetings with the Sangha, and is now the standard financial model for Appamada. It resolved our dilemmas of how to bring our financial practices in accord with the teachings of the Dharma, how to remove barriers to participation in all Appamada programming, how to make the Sangha more inclusive, how to abide in the field of generosity in ways that nourish the Sangha and convey the Dharma. It has expanded the demographic range of the Sangha, not only in terms of race, ethnicity, and culture, but also in socioeconomic level. There are many challenges in implementing the generosity model. The old conditioning around the exchange model, around our limiting ideas of scarcity, around the free flow of resources is powerful in most of us. It's hard not to slip back into those habits of mind, especially in times of stress or upset. We need to keep reminding ourselves of this luminous field of generosity we are all sustained in. That said, adopting this initiative has proven more complex and challenging than we could have anticipated. We continue to struggle with the dilemmas that it raises, but we are committed to its principles. Now we can read the other page that Dale wrote.
The facing page.
To attack generously. Up, yeah, it's that page, but up higher. Yeah, there we go.
To act generously is to awaken a certain kind of freedom. Freedom from the stranglehold of self-concern, and freedom to choose a level of responsibility beyond the minimal charge that most of us have for ourselves. To give and be generous is momentarily to be free of ourselves, free of greed and attachments, resentments and hatreds, habitual and isolating acts of self-protection. A generous person is on that occasion not a prisoner of self-imposed boundaries and insecurities. This momentary experience is exhilarating because it entails an expansion out beyond the compulsive anxieties of self-protection. In this sense, the practices of generosity are among the practices of freedom, and they carry with them all the joy and pleasure that are associated with liberation. Dale Wright, The Six Perfections, Buddhism and the Cultivation of Character.
So should we read this now?
No, let's read, let's see where we are.
We're at the adoption of the generosity. No, where were we?
No, we read that.
You already read that. Yeah, so it's page.
Top of the next page, I've always said.
I've always said we will do what we are able to do. Without resources, I guess we would have to stand in the park and offer the Dharma freely without reservation. So far, it has not come to that, but I do feel strongly that we are supported in our work through the generosity of the Dharma itself. And that from there, we in turn offer what we are able to. This is in direct contradiction to a model that is a projection of what we need to acquire, a kind of grasping at the future and a sense of lack in the present. It is in direct contradiction to a system based on exchange of value, the capitalist model of acquisitions, contracts, exchange, competition, and assessments of worth, fueled, no matter how subtly, how do you say it?
Subtly. Yeah.
By greed.
There's one more piece of Appamada's architecture that serves to organize activity, connect people, and provide key supporting elements of our environment and practice. Technology. It is a crucial aspect. Sorry. It is a crucial aspect of administration and the relationships. Our we
Yeah,
and
that
the
hour
relationships.
is wrong. Yeah. It's the
Yeah,
relationship
okay,
foster. Yeah, that's
okay,
my bad.
okay. No, it's okay. I just was like, maybe I missed something. Fo foster within and beyond the Sangha. We are all now enmeshed in a network. Yeah, you're no, enmeshed in a
Always evolving.
always evolving. There we go. I'm sorry, my eyes would not go to that sentence. Always evolving ecosystem of technology, hardware, software, networks, screens, voices, images, sound, websites, interactions, and relationships that are mediated by, when not entirely constituted by, technology. We do not have resources for professional studios, sound engineers, video, web design, and so on. This situation creates a set of dilemmas we turn to in the next chapter, technology.
So I'll read this facing page, Lynn Twist. Once we let go of scarcity, we discover the surprising truth of sufficiency. I don't mean a quantity of anything. Sufficiency isn't 2 steps up from poverty or 1 step short of abundance. It isn't a measure of barely enough or more than enough. Sufficiency isn't at all. Kim? Isn't an amount at all. It is an experience, a context we generate, a declaration, a knowing that there is enough and that we are enough. It is a consciousness, an attention, an intentional choosing of the way we think about our circumstances. In our relationship with money, it is using money in a way that expresses our integrity, using it in a way that expresses value rather than determines value. Sufficiency doesn't mean we shouldn't strive or aspire. Sufficiency is an act of generating, distinguishing, making known to ourselves the power and presence of our existing resources and our inner resources. Sufficiency is a context we bring forth from within that reminds us that if we look around us and within ourselves, we will find what we need. There is always enough. So far, so good.
That's it.
Yeah. That's the chapter.
Um,
Want to go on to technology? Okay.
yeah.
Okay, great.
I'm excited.
Oops.
That was such a fascinating look at finances and financial thing.
Oh, I'm glad you
I
think
really
so.
liked it.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Whole new way of thinking.
Oh, I'm glad.
Chapter 17, Technology. When I started as a new faculty member in the Department of Rhetoric and Writing in 1994, I had already been using a Macintosh computer for 10 years, first as an editor at HBJ, and then in graduate school for writing my papers and doing research as a kind of smart typewriter. I was excited to be teaching writing in classrooms equipped with new computers and hanging out in the computer writing and research lab. The lab was a kind of skunkworks where graduate students and professors explored the ways this new medium could be used for teaching in the humanities, in English classes and writing classes.
I think I need to just a second.
Oh, you can save time by reading a summary. This appears to be a long document.
Two promising technologies that just burst into the scene. The World Wide Web, so new that all of its sites could be listed on one page, and the widespread adoption of email. We used networked networked forums to foster class discussions of poetry and fiction, and taught students how to research topics, how to use word processing, and how to build websites to present information. So I was already steeped in the marvels of technology and its potential for harm when Ordinary Mind was new.
What struck me then, and still does today, was computer technology's enormous power as an architecture for relating. I suppose it really began when my son Ben got his first Macintosh at age 9 and promptly turned all of its alert sounds to fart noises. Clearly, it was not just a smart typewriter for him. Computers had their awesome power, and their awesome power gave Ben and I endless topics for conversations and even smoothed out through the way through his teen years, conversations that continue right up to the present day. I think it's, let me see. Can you go back to the Ben and I? Okay. So it really began when Ben got his first Macintosh computer and promptly turned on all his lights. Clearly, it was also up to him. Computers awesome power gave. It should be Ben and me.
Oh,
Computers and their awesome power gave me endless topics, so it should be Ben and me.
yeah, right. Okay, great. And so I learned that technology was not only a new instrument for creative work, but a powerful medium for relating one-on-one in small classroom groups and in the larger public sphere. It was only natural to build from the very beginnings of Ordinary Mind the technological architecture for connection in the Sangha. It too is an emergent architecture that has evolved as the Sangha has grown and new technological capacities have shaped our world. But technology introduces a whole new set of dilemmas. I'm just going to read this list of dilemmas. What technological applications do we actually need? What are we using technology for? How do we go about selecting and adopting applications, platforms, and hardware? Who will install, maintain, and monitor our technological solutions? How can we stay current in our use of technology? How will our technology use be reviewed and evaluated? How will technologies be funded or budgeted for? How will we use technologies in the service of the Sangha and the Dharma?
Mhm. Wow.
Readers, how would you resolve these technological dilemmas? Take some time to reflect on your answer before you turn the page. So we can read the facing page, I guess, before we go on to that. It's the next one down.
No,
Next
I'm
page.
just looking at the Mac.
I know the Mac.
That was my first machine.
Back in the day.
That was my first machine.
If the Buddha were alive today, he'd probably offer us a new sutta called Teksati, our mindfulness of technology. After all, the Buddha grounded his teachings in the realities of his students' everyday lives, and modern life is permeated by devices. We use them to communicate, shop, learn, swipe, scroll, and stream. You might even be reading this book on a glowing screen or listening to it read aloud by synthesized speech. As our tools evolve and intertwine with every corner of life, how do we bring the clarity and care of mindfulness into our relationship with technology? Nikki Mirajafori, How to Practice Mindfulness in the Digital Age, Lions Roar, July 2025.
It was simple enough in the beginning, an email list for our tiny Sangha. We began recording our Sunday morning talks and readings so that they could be shared with anyone who had missed the Sunday program. I added a blog to provide some basic information about where and when we were were meeting, as well as regular reflections on the Sangha and Zen and contemporary living. As we were beginning to share some more materials, handouts, chants, information about one-day sittings, articles, I created a wiki, like a tiny specialized Wikipedia, to gather resources and make them permanently available. But it was all in the interest of serving our own Sangha, not providing some kind of global or even public offering. And so it goes, website after website, at least 5 so far, designed and built, and new structures added as the Sangha grew and the technology exploded, expanding our relational capacities, which brings us to the present moment in our current technological landscape. Read on if these evolving details interest you.
And you can see on the facing page, that's a map that's a map of the Concrete 5 website, which is one of the websites I built. That website took 2 years.
Wow, amazing. Printing. We use Mac laptops and sturdy HP color laser printer for most of our printing needs. Large print runs and specialty printing for our chant book, for example, are done at a nearby FedEx office. Signage for permanent signs is handled by Alpha Graphics in town, and we use ultra bright white paper to resume weight for handouts and ceremony programs. Naturally, our font for these is Universe. The quality of the printed materials reflects our care. I haven't heard of Universe.
Email,
How do you say it, Peg?
Univer. It's
Univer, no S.
there's no E on the end.
But you don't pronounce the S.
No, you don't pronounce the S. It's very French.
Yeah, yeah.
I think actually Swiss. I think Frutiger was Swiss. Email. Email is a very mixed blessing. Everyone has way too much email to deal with. To keep things simple, we had to get complex. We have created Google groups for these email lists as they are needed. The main email list, which goes to the whole Sangha, is strictly for announcements, reflections from teachers, and pointers to resources of potential interest to the whole Sangha. From there, we have created other groups with their own email lists for discussion, for teachers, for councils, for the board, for various Sangha groups such as the Flowers group, and so on. In this way, our members are not swamped with emails about the myriad details that running a modern Sangha entails.
Calendars. We use Google Calendar as it is the most cost-effective solution for coordinating Sangha activities and making them public. Again, we've had to make calendaring complex in order to keep things as simple as possible for users. There is a main Appamada calendar that lists our offerings, council meetings, board meetings, intensives, and so on. There is a calendar for folks to sign up for roles, such as monitor or timekeeper. One calendar tracks presenters for Dharma talks, and others are used by groups. It seems crazy to have so many calendars, but otherwise, the main calendar would be unusable, so cluttered with activities. One helpful feature of the Google Calendar ecosystem is that a calendar can be embedded in the website rather than as a separate link to Google. Speaking of which,
The website. As I mentioned, our Ordinary Mind Sangha's first actual website was a blog, followed by our wiki, followed by a community site called Ning. With the birth of Appamada, Ben built our first Truth website in 2009. There was a redesign in 2016 using Concrete 5, a developer platform, and another in 2019. Our website is now on Squarespace, which provides templates and website administration, security updates, and so on. We found a template that could be modified for style and purposes, and that is the basis for the current site, at appamada.org as of this writing. I think of the website as Appamada's archive and main instructional site. There you can find resources for beginners, libraries of Dharma talks, classes, intensives, and inquiry sessions, links to groups and people in the Sangha, such as the board members and the council's information about Appamada itself, links to our SoundCloud and YouTube recording, and sets of instruction for roles, for example. There is a section to schedule practice discussion with a Dharma teacher or tea with head student. It is our central library. A website is not a publication like a book that can be created and then left alone. It is more like a baby that requires constant tending and feeding. There is a lot of complexity to its care. A group of volunteer and audio editors helps keep it current along with the efforts of Kim and myself. Okay, how about this now? Oh, the website.
Yep.
Okay. So I noticed I had over 100 Google groups.
Oh my gosh.
You do not know when to quit, Kim.
Well, I think Linda would agree.
That's great. Forums. We started with simple sign-up sheets in the kitchen, filled out when people were there, but we quickly realized that an online form was much more accessible for more of our Sangha members. I had read about wufoo.com, years ago when it was still a startup. That's when we began using it for creating the many forms we need, including intensive or class registration forms, sign up forms, and so on. Wufoo is a richly featured platform for forms with a bit of complexity and a learning curve, but it's been very useful for us. We can keep unlimited numbers of forms, which not only means we can duplicate an existing form and adapt it to a new event, but we also have a history of the forms we've used in the past for all kinds of purposes.
Finances. It's critical to track finances responsibly and to take care with the resources provided by the generosity of our contributors. Currently, we use bill.com for this function. Fortunately, still, we have an able bookkeeper and an accountant who are well versed in our needs. We use PayPal as the standard for trustworthy online payments. Because we are a nonprofit, our PayPal transaction fees are reduced. Still, fees do add up and take a significant bite out of our contributions. Again, a necessary evil.
Sound recording. Where once we used a little digital recorder to capture audio of Dharma talks for missing Sangha members, sending links by email, we now post audio recordings to our SoundCloud channel, soundcloud.com/appamada-zen. There are currently over 2,400 recordings there, organized into playlists of classes, intensives, Dharma talks, way-seeking mind talks. SoundCloud allows us to embed playlists or tracks on our web pages, which has been extremely helpful for classes. See, for example, this class on the principles of meditation in our Foundations of Zen series. HTTPS, here we go. If students miss a class, they can catch up. But even more importantly, the course is still available to listen to later for new folks or as a refresher.
And I want a page break there.
Yeah.
Because they want to move the video recording down.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because sometimes these things change and you're because you've done one other thing, not anywhere near this.
Yes. Yes. I am well aware.
We're back to me. Similarly, we now record Dharma talks and other offerings which are shared online. These are edited for clarity and uploaded to our YouTube channel here. And I'm wondering if you want the www, you don't need that.
Oh, okay.
I was reluctant at first to begin sharing videos. We do not have professional studios or equipment, nor sound engineers and lighting techs. I worried that most people would compare our efforts to professional video with high-end production values. But for the same reason we began audio recording, we stepped tentatively into video capture for our Sangha members. We hope that our homemade style would be forgiven. It has proved that to be a remarkable way to document Appamada's activities and teachings. It gives so much depth to our appreciation of the teachers to see them in video, compared with reading a talk in print. Which brings us to the next evolution in our technological development, one propelled by a global catastrophe.
Zoom. As mentioned earlier, we were already using Zoom to make it possible for folks at a distance to join our Monday evening depth in practice reading group. We'd already fussed a bit with camera angles, lighting, and sound issues, which depended on external microphone. We'd ironed out some of the glitches so that it was a regular part of our meeting. In depth in practice, people take turns reading a paragraph at a time. So this too had to be managed in the mix of online and in-person participation. But we had resisted any other uses for this platform, broadcasting video and teleconferencing, just as not Zen, at least for us. My famous last words: we will never have cameras in the Zendo.
Then the
Never say never.
pandemic, and everything shifted for everyone. We were completely shut down, and I was the only one at home at Appamada. We immediately put all of our scheduled programming online on Zoom. Kim helped set up the cameras, laptops, big monitor, and lighting for the Zendo. I became the default host and MC for most of Appamada's programs: morning Zazen, the Sunday morning program, depth and practice, council meetings, board meetings, and individual practice discussions with our Sangha members. Our Dharma teachers jumped online as well, and Flint zoomed in for inquiry from Hawaii. We might want to read the facing page.
Do we want to read the facing page, Kim? You're wondering about how to spell Hawaii?
It's not.
Kim?
Kim, you're muted.
Good.
Hawaii as an apostrophe between the two I's, is it?
Yes.
I'm looking it up, I don't see that, but I believe you.
Well, at least that's the native way they prefer it spelled.
Okay, it's all right, okay.
Thank you for doing it that way then.
The pandemic forced a seismic cultural and technological shift. Before, video conferencing had generally been for use in business and higher education. Suddenly, it was as ubiquitous as the phone. It opened our practice to people who were geographically as dispersed as England, Hawaii, New Jersey, New Mexico, Minnesota, and beyond. And it provided a cloud Zendo for folks isolated at home, even in Austin. This kept the Sangha alive in the midst of a global crisis. When it was again safe for folks to come together again in person, we continued our support for our online Zen students. Here's a screen capture of some folks in our April 2024 intensive on Zoom.
So, okay, we could finish these two paragraphs. I never yearned to be a film star. As a kid, I've never been comfortable in front of. Should that be two sentences?
No.
Okay. And suddenly I was on camera alone in an empty Zendo 6 to 8 hours a day. Zoom, like email, was a very mixed blessing, but ultimately allowed us to connect with, and support folks in far-flung locations. England, New Mexico, Minneapolis, Spain, and even those nearby who could no longer come to the Zendo to sit peacefully together. We continue to use it even after the end of the pandemic brought Sangha members back to the Zendo. For our hybrid Sangha, which now includes our online-only members.
This, of course, requires a tremendous amount of effort by our online AV monitors, our editing and posting folks, and overseeing the whole environment. Kim, and overseeing the whole environment. Kim, so much connection, so much care. We formed deep spiritual friendships through this new medium and crossed many miles and time zones. Zoom enabled us to keep the Sangha alive through the devastating isolation of the pandemic and to support and nourish folks in a time of great social deprivation. Many Sanghas simply perished, some were greatly diminished. But with Zoom, Appamada managed to thrive, one of the fortunate survivors of a great global catastrophe.
Okay, should we stop here? It's 8 o'clock.
Yeah. That sounds good. Let's remember that we didn't read the facing page, so we'll do that next time.
Okay.
I will not be here, as you know, for a couple of Mondays.
Well, we're not going to meet next week, right? Because
Right.
everything's closed.
Closed. Yeah. And then the following Monday, I'll be traveling back by the train, so I will not be.
Well, should we skip that too, so that, because this is useful to you?
It's very useful. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
up to you guys what you want to do.
I think
And
I
then
think it'd be
start,
better to not do it because so that you can be here in the process.
yeah, so we'll cancel the 17th.
Because I am making changes on the fly. I have it open in Affinity, which is my publishing application.
Okay, cancel 7 p.m. Cancel. And then we're on page
495 here
495
on the
on the
horizon.
horizon.
Yeah.
So that's the 17th.
I got a few more pages of this chapter.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Would we be able to finish this chapter if we kept going
Oh, sure.
today until 8:30?
Yeah. There's only about 4 more pages.
Well, why don't we do that? Because although I love the little bit of writing, I think it might be more more useful for you if we finish this chapter and we've
Oh,
rounded that up.
yeah, that would be wonderful.
Okay.
Okay,
So
well, let's do that.
oh,
If you don't,
great.
I mean, is
Okay.
that okay with you, Kim? I just kind of,
Sure.
So we do want to read the facing page before we go on. There you go.
Whose turn is it?
I think it might be my turn.
Okay.
you can all agree to that.
It is the systematic attraction and exploitation of attention that now drives global circulation of goods and services. In this new attention economy, revenue growth is directly proportional to the effectiveness of machine agencies in discerning what we value and predicting what we can be reduced to want. We are, of course, being compensated for allowing our patterns of attention to be mapped and profitably modified. As consumers, in exchange for our attention, we are provided with individually tailored and yet seemingly infinite arrays of choice for tangible goods and services, the intangible experiences afforded by film and music, and for social connection. Peter Hershock, Buddhism and Intelligent Technology Toward a More Human Future. Good book, by the way.
Mm. So, Kim, when you're wrestling and writing and erasing, we can hear you.
Thanks for saying that. Okay.
On the horizon, I don't know what the future will bring, even though it is rapidly approaching. William Gibson famously wrote, "The future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed." We can expect that the advent of artificial intelligence will have an enormous impact on our society, some of it welcome, some of it troubling. You don't need to be a prophet to see that the sea change looming. But other forces will surely have their own powerful effects: climate change, migration, the concentration of power and wealth in the hands of the elite, political and economic instability, and so on. Technology is enmeshed in all of these forces of change. Our work as Zen practitioners is to be as clear-eyed, present, and aware as we possibly can, so that we can access the wisdom and compassion we will surely need in such uncertain times, both in meeting what comes ourselves and in our compassionate care for each other and every living being. We will discover new ways, new architectures for technology to serve as an ally in that effort.
Mhm. That is so powerful.
Thank you.
A disclaimer: technology is an ever changing environment. No technology solution can be a perfect or permanent one. By the time this book finds its way into your hands, the entire technological landscape may be utterly different. In the interview for my UT faculty position, I was asked what computer applications our students should be learning. I said the most important thing we can teach students is that technology is rapidly and continuously evolving. Oh, there's no space here.
Right.
So regardless what applications we may use in the classroom, what they really need to learn is how to stay curious and open to the changes ahead.
Hmm. The applications we've adopted may not suit everyone's needs, or there may even be better alternatives to resolve another Sanga's technological dilemmas. It's important to consider how any technology we add to the mix of networks, hardware, applications, platforms, and procedures must be thoroughly designed, easy to learn and use, simple enough to maintain, and affordable.
We, like most small sanghas, do not have professional staff to manage the technologies we now depend on. The complex tech environment described above depends entirely on the skills, capacities, and willingness of our terrific Sangha volunteers, both on-site and online, headed up, trained, and coordinated by Kim. But Kim is also an entrusted Dharma teacher with other responsibilities. This presents us with a fresh set of dilemmas.
Maybe managing our tech environment will become a new set of council responsibilities to be taken on when a new council is formed and then rotated among the councils. Maybe the Sangha will need to hire an administrator whose responsibilities include tech management. Or in extreme circumstances, we may move toward simplicity, backing out of the complexities of the modern tech environment.
But simplicity carries a heavy cost: the loss of functionality and connection, and the loss of cherished online Sangha members. It would be a retreat back to a small in-person sitting group until the next pandemic.
Technology is compelling and powerful. It has made Buddhist texts translations, teachings, and scholarship so much more accessible, and also spawned fierce debates and conflicts typical of every human forum. But the wealth and the variety of Buddhist texts, teachers, and discussions online also presents its own set of distractions, dead ends, blind alleys, and general chaos. It can bewilder and overwhelm spiritual seekers, distracting them from sitting down in the simple, non digital practice of sitting in stillness and silence with life as it is.
Our spiritual path is not a Google search away, and ChatGPT is not a Zen teacher, no matter how helpful it tries to be. There's no digital shortcut to equanimity, compassion, wisdom, connection, or enlightenment. That's not to say that online offerings are worthless. We have many dedicated students in our online cloud Zendo. But online resources must be used with wisdom and care as complements to embodied practice and engagement with spiritual friends and teachers. Digital tools can be useful in support of sanghas, but they come with their own sets of dilemmas.
Since in the modern world it is nearly impossible for any enduring group to entirely withdraw from technology, we must be wise and respectful in our engagement with it. It is a new set of relationships to greet with mindful, energized care. And technology can create environments for human relationality, more arenas for mutual care. Like other energies, fire, water, electricity, magnetism, technology can be useful in liberating or profoundly destructive. It is entirely up to us to use it in the service of our aspiration, our ethical foundations, and our vow for the liberation of all beings.
The dilemmas raised by technology are seldom resolved by a new piece of hardware, application, platform, or network, a new workflow, or a new technician. The dilemmas themselves are adaptive, it seems, and evolve along with our solutions to the previous ones. We are always trying to keep that balance between innovation, stability, and relationality.
We should read this quote on the facing page.
I would like to see the word simplicity or something there, too, but in terms of balance.
Meditation can be seen then as an alternative technology. Or I have to move you guys out of whoops. What happened? Yikes. Okay. I don't know what I just did.
Did you lose the image?
What I was trying to do was to okay, there everybody is. Well, just a second. Hopefully I can get it back.
Speaking of technology.
Okay, there we go. Phew. One wrong click and that could be the end. Okay, let me start again. Meditation can be seen then as an alternative technology, an alternative to our technological bias toward control. Meditation breaks down the cycle of our wanting, of our, yeah, wanting. In this way, it directly undermines the purpose, effects, and mechanisms of our control and being controlled. When we break the cycle of our wanting, the compulsion to satisfy ourselves through decisive acts of consumption naturally eases. Like all compulsions, consuming thrives to the precise extent that we give it our energy, our attention. In meditation, we return to the full presence with all things. Peter D. Hersuk, Reinventing the Wheel, a Buddhist response to the information age.
Where do we go from here? Part 5, Offerings, describes the programs and activities Appamada offers, the everyday life of the Sangha, answering the question, but what is it you actually do there? This rich set of programs, activities, and groups invites participation and connection to fit the schedules and interests of busy householders. Some of these are common in Zen sanghas, even quite traditional ones, zazen, jukai ceremonies, or practice periods, for example. Others are new approaches. For example, Appamada's principle of relational Zen is now being explored in other centers as well. Our primal human hunger for genuine connection cannot be satisfied by silent meditation alone. The double helix of the living Dharma in Zen continues to be composed of zazen and encounter. How do Appamada's programs make both the stillness, the quiet inward turn of zazen, and the warm connections of spiritual friendship not just possible, but inevitable? Part 5 shows how they are intimately woven into the fabric of the everyday life of the community.
Hmm.
So then there's just, there's that last spread. On that last spread, Kim, there's a Rilke poem.
Yeah, I'm just looking at that. Hey,
The machine endangers all we have made. Part 2, Sonnet 10. The machine endangers all we have made. We allow it to rule instead of obey. To build a house, cut the stone sharp and fast. The carver's hand takes too long to feel its way. The machine never hesitates, or we might escape and its factories subside into silence. It thinks it's alive and does everything better. With equal resolve, it creates and destroys. But life holds mystery for us yet. In 100 places, we can still sense the source, a play of pure powers that, when you feel it, brings you to your knees. There are yet words that come near the unsayable, and from crumbling stones, a new music to make a sacred dwelling in a place we cannot own. Rainier Maria Rilke.
Okay, we did it.
We did it.
I wonder what machine he's referring to. I mean, what,
I don't think he's referring to a particular machine.
or Industrial Revolution is.
Yeah, because when did Wilkie write?
Oh gosh.
A while. I mean, yeah, long time ago.
Back before
He
the.
was born in 1875 and died in 1926.
And so it'd be the Industrial Revolution. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think he's talking about something that's man-made but autonomous.
That's right. It's an abstract category, not a particular machine.
Oh, I know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like you would say the institution or
Oh, and it's factories, so that would.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or the man.
But how appropriate it is to today. That's what's amazing to me.
Yeah, I know. I know it's really current. So okay, so we have a few minutes, and I'm wondering how this is all hitting you guys. You know, like how it seems. It's like helpful or interesting or whatever.
I really like these last 4 chapters. I mean, they're very clear what each chapter is about, distinctive. Someone will be more interested in one than the other,
Yeah.
or might come back, like we read in our the council one, but it seems different groups might want to read the ones that connect to what they're doing.
Yeah, so I can see if you had a new board member, that chapter would be really useful for the board member. And you
And
might
as would the generosity model be.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's talking not only about the structure, but it's talking about the process about how we build things. You know, this process of consultation with the councils and the teachers and It's important for people to get that, and yeah.
Well, and the possibilities to me, that you can take all of the beliefs and put them into practical practice, um, here in the Sangha, the financials, you know, how you relate to each other, all of those practical things that we think are separate from, or well, I mean, I know we shouldn't, but that often are separated from the act of the practice and the study, and putting it all together and showing how amazing it can be if you do that. I think that's just marvelous.
Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah, that's the thing that has heartened and inspired me as we've gone along. The ways that people are supportive of that, that they're engaged with it, that they're really attempting to put it to practical use, just like you say. Yeah.
For me, the technology chapter is very eye-opening. I mean, I think it really helps people think about what are the challenges, what are the things that they may encounter.
Yeah.
Kind of opens that up.
Well, a lot of that is often hidden, like people don't even think about it. Oh, we've got a website, and we have some, webmaster, it's someone's 14-year-old nephew, but I mean, for small sanghas, it's really challenging because they don't have a lot of experience necessarily with technology. I mean, we live in a city. Austin is a city, and San Diego is a city too, with a lot of high tech industry. So there, a lot of the people who come have some tech background or some are tech savvy. And that's not the case with somebody who's out there in North Dakota and it's just not necessarily the case, and they have to kind of find their way. But for me, what I'm trying to do is illuminate. See, these are some of the things you ought to be thinking about. These are some of the
Mm.
questions you ought to be asking, um, so that you can, you know, not spin your wheels and spend a lot of exorbitant amount of time and effort that is not necessary. So Squarespace is a good example. I mean, I built so many websites, from scratch basically. And it's time consuming and it's labor intensive, and a bunch of the sort of unneeded extra effort is removed working in Squarespace where they've had the intelligence to put a lot of money into graphic design. So the
Hmm.
templates are beautiful. And it means you can
Mhm.
get a website up in an afternoon then, you know. So I want people to realize that there are some there's some support there that they may not be aware of. But man, we use a lot of
Oh, that's great.
technology. And when I started really detailing it, I thought, oh my God, this catalog of this technology that we're using. Uh, Because this has been woven in over time in a way that, you kind of don't realize the cumulative effect of it, how much it permeates everything.
Yeah.
So, so, so again, another opportunity to exercise and train in wisdom and compassion in the use of something like that. So potent. So I'm glad you're liking these chapters. This is the last of the sort of nuts and bolts of the architecture. The next chapter is really details our offerings, like depth and practice, or like sewing, and it talks about the chants that we do in the morning. It's that annotated list of chants so people can kind of peruse that. So it's a big chapter because we have a lot of offerings, but I'm happy about it because I'm happy to get those offerings, like all in one place explained um, and demonstrated, because I think we do a lot, and I'm always kind of amazed. So, yeah. Any other thoughts you want to put out of this now?
I like the cadence with which you were doing this. So it's not like, I mean, it could be so boring. It could be just like, oh my gosh, would she just hurry up and get through this?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it really brings it alive. So it's not, it's not, so it's connected to people. You're
That's
very good at connecting things to people and places and not just making it just dry and this is what we did, this is how we did it, and da, 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 but to really emphasize the connection between what you're talking about and not just building Appamada or a Sangha, but how it affects the people involved and how you want to involve people to affect them and for them to affect the Sangha. I just think you do a really, really good job of that.
Thank you. That was really my hope. I thought, are these going to be the boring chapters that people go, oh yeah, no, I don't want to read this, you know?
Yeah, all right.
I hope.
Not
I was
the
excited.
technology chapter.
What?
Not the technology chapter.
Technology chapter.
Oh my God. What are they going to talk about? Yeah, no,
Have to.
that was very good.
So looking at the Lulu specs, it looks like it definitely is going to be in 2 books because otherwise it's just going to be too big.
Wow.
But I mean, the first book will be like 250, 300 pages, and the second one will be, I mean, the whole total is 650 pages, 648 pages,
Mhm.
and I haven't put in the credits yet, you know.
So is
Yeah.
it clear to you at this point how you're gonna divide it?
Oh yeah, the book 1 is teachers. It's about our background and training, and the beginning of ordinary mind. And then the second one is Appamada. It's just all about Appamada. So it's that one. The second one is Sangha.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a sounds like a good way of dividing it up.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and there will be people who are more interested in sort of biography, autobiography, whatever, who will be interested in the teacher's part of it. And there will be more people who are like, how do you actually do this? You know, how do you actually?
Yeah.
So
Mm,
they'll be interested in the second book. And so probably what we'll do is publish it as 2 books and then a bundle. And with a
mm,
discounted bundle. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be great.
That's how I think it will work best. Do do it that way, and then those books are going to be probably expensive because they're in color and because they're photographs. They have to be on premium paper as well. So I haven't priced out those books yet,
Mm.
but also it'll be available as a PDF. So for people um, who
mm.
get it that way, then they
Mm.
get it that way. What did I decide? The PDF. Yeah, book 1, book 2, and a bundle. Yeah. I thought about putting out a black and white edition. I don't know how you think about that, Kim, but uh, I there's a part of me that would be really sad to do that, but it would also be very cost effective and it would be an
Mhm,
expensive version for folks. So
mm,
yeah,
Yeah.
so I think it's nice to have something in your hand, you know, like it's like you know, I do a lot of
Mhm.
reading on screen and I listen to a lot of Audible books, but there's nothing like a book, you know, like a
Mhm.
book, an actual book. So
Very true.
yeah.
Are you thinking of doing an audio for it?
Well, it's hard to imagine because there's so much graphic material, you know, in it.
mm,
It's hard for me to imagine how that would work, actually. There's a lot of content on those pages, those facing pages that,
Yeah, well, that's very true.
yeah, I'm not really sure how to handle that if the images are not there, you know what I mean?
mm.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, yeah. So maybe I'll do a video of me reading it out loud, showing it like we did it on-
I that's how I do it for my grandkids. I take my I hold the book here, I read, and then when there's a picture, I show them.
That's great.
Grandma, we want to see the pictures. Okay.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. So I'm very grateful for all the help you guys have provided over this course of this thing. You know, we're really well into it, and the next chapter is the chapter on offerings, but the one after that is the whole section on succession. And that's really what wraps up the book. So we're getting really close to the end. There's
Mm.
22 chapters altogether. And then there's a bibliography. It's about 143 entries in the bibliography, and there's little credits and acknowledgments and things like that that will all come in that. And tributaries. There's tributaries, and we can go through that, which would be super helpful because you guys have such great eyes, to see where I've screwed things up in the tributaries. But
That feeling. Yeah.
a fun project. It's been really such a delight. I can't tell you how happy it makes me to be talking about the Sangha.
Or you should be. It should be.
Yeah,
It's a happy topic.
it is a happy topic. Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's like even more significant in the current geopolitical situation we find ourselves in to
Definitely.
model a different possibility, to actually
Yeah.
be able to say, yeah, this actually can work. Wisdom and compassion actually can work.
Can work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So and the Buddhist teachings are still relevant and can still help us. So anyway, thank you so much for helping with this, helping bring this to life.
Thank you for allowing us to be part of it.
Yeah.
It's been a long journey. I think 7 years.
Mm.
When I first started working on it with Jeffrey, it was about 7 years ago, and it was pathetic. It's just incredibly pathetic.
Why pathetic?
Because I was floundering around, I just didn't know how to get aliveness into it, and it was just going to be a straight narrative, and I was thinking, oh, okay, today I'll write about, I don't know, what am I gonna write about today? Like it was like that. As soon as the format opened up and we could add images and we could add teachings and we could add koans and we could add Sangha members' reflections, then the whole thing took off. It was just like, oh, this is going to be a blast,
Mm.
Mhm.
It's like building a collage or something, like a big collage. And so then I got super excited about it. That's when I started really, really writing.
Mm.
You always have to get those bones down first, because otherwise you don't see where the possibilities are. I think
Yeah,
that's one
my process,
thing
and
I've learned.
I hate my
Yeah.
process in that I have to flounder around. I kept a dissertation log, and every single day I wrote down what I had done on the dissertation, what my questions were, and
Mm.
I did that because the first 3 months of work on the dissertation, I simply wrote every day, I'm floundering. I have no idea what I'm doing. This is like nailing jello to a wave. I don't see how to start this. I don't know what I'm going to do, And it was so funny because I kept it because I knew later when I did other projects or when people I was coaching were doing projects, that whole piece of it would be, like hidden, you know. So I'm like, yeah, no, month after month after month of every day. I don't know. Maybe I should read more sources. So yeah, so once this got, a fire under it, it really was truly and truly effortless.
Mm.
Even though the things I'm doing formatting pages, it's effortless. It's like,
Mm.
oh yeah, and the bleed is 0.118, not 125. Okay.
Okay. Yes.
But it's immersive, So I was saying to my family, like, you never want to have a friend or a family member who's a writer, because whenever you say, how are you? They'll say, well, I'm struggling a little bit with chapter 14. I'm not really sure how to make a transition from the previous chapter to this chapter. And their eyes are just rolling back.
That is so true. It is
I'm like,
so true.
You're super excited. Guess what? I had a major breakthrough. I finally figured out how to start chapter 18. And they're like, great. You sound so happy.
So proud of you. Yes.
The most boring friends. So yeah, I think they're all like holding their breath until this thing is done and I actually return to the land of the living as far as they're concerned. Talk about movies or something. Yeah.
Mm.
But it's so funny because that's, the writing life is your mood is entirely how well the writing is going.
Mm.
it's going well, you're ecstatic. It's not going well, you're yeah. So, but it's fun. It's exciting. Anyway, I so appreciate you, all of you, and all of the people who've helped with this, and even the people who are not online tonight. And I know have been, and Alice has been editing away, and she's in chapter 7 now, which is, I feel sorry for her because that's the great vow chapter. So it goes on and on. Yeah. But she's so helpful in things she notices. So anyway, thank you a million times. I will see you on the other side of this great ceremony that we're about to do. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.